fuck was that?
Forests promise peace, yet silence can hide watching eyes and unseen danger.
This guy is standing pretty close to my van.
These 6 encounters began like ordinary outdoor moments. Calm walks and familiar routines until something shifted. Footsteps followed. And figures waited, turning nature into places where fear felt alive. Daniel O'Neill is a YouTuber from the United Kingdom who runs a channel called English Woodsman. For nearly 10 years, his content focused on peaceful wild camping trips, gear reviews, and quiet nights spent deep inside British woodlands. In August 2023, that familiar tone changed completely.
He wanted to donate money to the charity in one condition: I spend another night in the haunted woodland. Now, this haunted woodland, crazy thing happened one time I stayed.
Daniel walked through dense woodland while talking casually to his audience. Along the trail, he pointed out footprints pressed into the dirt and rubbish scattered nearby, subtle signs that someone else had passed through recently. At the time, it felt like a minor detail rather than a warning.
I ironed out a lot of the issues already. Some people said it on my jet stove that I was using, so all the idea that could have made the noise is out of the window. There's no cows in the field. Some said it could have been the cows, you know, walking around chewing on the grass. There's no cows in the field tonight, so that's another thing we can push out of there.
After a long walk, Daniel settled into a small clearing and leaned against a tree to eat noodles and drink coffee.
Like a time capture sort of thing, so spirits and stuff can be caught within that time.
The forest was quiet, almost too quiet. Suddenly, slow footsteps could be heard directly behind him. When he turned and called out, the sound stopped immediately.
See, that was like the noise I heard last time.
He tried to regain control and continue his meal, yet the uneasy feeling stayed. As the sun dropped lower, the footsteps returned.
I'm not going to let that noise get to me. I'm going on about it like I am, though. You know, what I'm thinking of is, I know it might sound really stupid.
This time, they sounded closer. Again, when Daniel spoke, the noise stopped without explanation. The pattern repeated, sound followed by silence, each time raising the tension further.
For food banks. See, we heard a kid then. Let's bear that in mind.
What made the encounter disturbing was how deliberate the sounds felt and how they stopped the moment he reacted. Alone in the woods, uncertainty can become more frightening than anything you can see. In December 2014, a YouTube user named Forest Fire number 21 uploaded a short audio recording captured around 2 in the morning. The uploader lived in a house surrounded by forest, and the sounds were recorded coming from deep in the woods behind his property. At first, the recording sounds unclear, like distant yelling carried by the wind. As listeners focused more closely, a young female voice could be heard screaming repeatedly from far inside the forest. Buried beneath the screaming, a second voice appeared. This time, it sounded like an adult male, quieter and farther away. The fact that the sounds were recorded deep in the woods, late at night, during winter, leaves a chilling sense of uncertainty. Without context, the audio remains suspended in mystery, making it one of those recordings that feels unfinished. Lisa is a life coach and YouTuber who often documents her solo van life while traveling across the country. In 2022, one quiet afternoon turned frightening when she parked her van on the side of a road and left the side door open while cooking dinner inside. The moment felt ordinary until a strange man suddenly approached without warning.
Beauharnois Canal. And I have got my side door open like I always do, but I kind of have it so that people have no reason, they have absolutely no reason to walk on the side of my van so that they can look in it or anything, unless they want to be nosy or, just up to no good.
Without permission, the man leaned into her van, invading her personal space, and began asking questions in French. Lisa could not understand him and clearly showed discomfort. The situation grew tense as he stood too close, studying her movements and refusing to leave.
Be careful, because their intentions are never what they portray. I ended up shutting the door because he couldn't figure out the Google translation. He was sitting there for, I don't even know, it felt like eternity. And so I just said, excuse me, and I shut my door literally on him, the side door, because I did not feel safe. Like he was just something about him that was really sketchy, shady, and I was just not feeling it. And so I'm not going to ignore my intuition this time. And so excuse me, shut the door.
For over 30 minutes, the man remained outside in the rain, repeatedly using the translator app as if waiting for another chance. His presence felt deliberate and controlled, which only increased the fear inside the van.
So I kind of shut the curtains so that he can't see in, and just, you would think he would take the hint. Oh no. So after, I think it was maybe half an hour, I had to be at least that long, trying to figure out how to communicate with me.
Things became more alarming as the man moved into nearby bushes, watching from a distance while pretending to stay hidden. As daylight faded, he began repositioning his vehicle again and again, blocking Lisa's exit and keeping her trapped in place.
This guy is really starting to freak me out.
Relief finally arrived when a family in an RV parked nearby and decided to stay for the night. The man left shortly after seeing them, yet returned hours later in the darkness to check if Lisa was alone.
This guy is standing pretty close to my van, but he does have this remote control car, and he's zooming it around the parking lot and around my van.
The next morning, Lisa left early, shaken and exhausted. Sometimes safety arrives by chance, and without it, the outcome could have been far worse. As other encounters hinted at unseen danger, this one proved that sometimes the strongest warning comes from instinct, silence, and an animal that senses trouble before humans ever do.
What the fuck was that?
Thomas Lokach runs a camping YouTube channel where most trips feel calm and routine. On August 4th, 2024, that pattern broke. With his dog Archie beside him, he arrived at the trailhead just as daylight began to fade.
I guess someone's been through it at some point. Because it is walkable, just about. My legs are getting scraped to bits though.
Reaching a small clearing, Thomas suddenly noticed Archie was missing. Panic slipped into his voice as he called out. After several tense moments, Archie returned, though his behavior felt wrong, and his eyes locked onto one specific section of the forest.
Archie? Archie? What's that about? It's just completely dropped. It keeps looking in that direction.
The woods fell silent, birds stopped calling, insects vanished, and the air felt heavy and empty. Without setting up camp, Thomas made the decision to leave.
Something's fucky. Something's fucky. Pardon my language. The first time I've ever sworn on this channel. Does that prove that something feels genuinely off? We're out here, man. We're gone.
Thomas spoke honestly about the fear, the silence, and Archie's reaction. Just as he finished, a chilling sound echoed from the forest behind him, followed by frantic bird cries and a long, painful noise he could not identify.
What's that? You would have heard that because I've got my mic on me. Can you hear that?
Thomas and Archie left without hesitation. Whatever waited in those woods remained unseen, yet listening to instinct and leaving early may have prevented something far worse from happening. In October 2022, a lone rock climber from Japan began his descent down a steep ridge on Mount Futago in Saitama Prefecture. As he focused on his footing, heavy breathing sounded nearby. Moments later, a large black shape appeared above him, initially mistaken for a dog. That comfort vanished instantly. The shape lunged forward, revealing itself as a bear charging directly toward him. Panic exploded as the climber screamed and pushed against the animal while clinging to the cliff. In a frantic effort to survive, the man kicked and struck at the animal while fighting to keep his balance. After several horrifying seconds, the bear finally pulled back and retreated up the ridge, shaking and exhausted. The climber scrambled upward and waited until the area felt safe again. Reviewing the footage revealed a smaller bear, indicating a mother defending her cub. He survived with minor injuries, an incredible escape. Jake Travis from the Hojit Project explored Washington's forests peacefully until August 13th, 2024, when his usual calm turned eerie while setting up camp in a small clearing at nightfall.
Trees are kind of in an odd formation. I'm also realizing this is not just a square tarp, but should be able to figure out something.
With limited light, he rushed to set up his tarp, adjusting to uneven trees and sloping ground.
This is what I came up with. As you can see, it's sloping with the hill. It's getting pretty dark, so you got this set up just in time.
The forest spoke back. A loud crack echoed through the trees. Jake brushed it off, assuming it was rotting wood collapsing somewhere uphill.
Something made a heavy sound over there. Could have just been some old rotted logs settling.
Moments later, a sharper, heavier snap sounded closer, close enough to trigger real concern. The silence afterward felt wrong.
I don't know if that was me or something over there.
Grabbing his flashlight, Jake stepped out to investigate. The sounds stopped instantly. No eyes reflected back. He stood there for several minutes, scanning the forest, yet nothing revealed itself. Unsettled, Jake decided to leave.
Documenting my experience and why I'm leaving. It's basically, it was all set up, it was getting dark, I had just gathered all the firewood. I had run back to the vehicle to grab my Carhartt jacket
Jake never learned who had been watching him that night. Whatever stood there had waited silently, close enough to observe, patient enough to freeze, and strange enough to disappear without a trace. Each story ended without clear answers, leaving only questions and uneasy memories behind. When the woods grow quiet, instinct often speaks louder than sight. If these encounters unsettled you, make sure to subscribe for more chilling stories. Share this video with friends who love the thrill. And remember to trust your instincts in the wild.